Alrighty, guys, welcome to tonight's charting session. Hopefully, everybody is doing well. It is Tuesday, October 17th. Welcome in. Hopefully, everybody has had a good day and traded well. Today, we're going to be going over the trades that we took today. I'm up around 3,000 on the day, so we'll go over the trades that I took. I took 3 trades, one on NQ, one on gold, and one on euro. We'll go over all of them, my confluence with it. And we'll talk about what we're looking at going into tomorrow. And then any questions that you guys have, any trades that you want me to review, we'll go over those as well. So going into today, a lot of people got faked out, expecting to see a continuation higher today. Now, I was pretty bullish, at least going into the morning, until this level was swept. After that, I'm not really worried. We'll get into that later. So going into the open, the one thing I was watching to see is this imbalance. Well, I'll keep this on actually. The one thing I was looking to see is this imbalance. We had a 1 hour imbalance that we were coming into. Let me skip ahead to market open. Once this gets ran through and I open the day and I'm like, holy shit, we are just selling off. Again, noticing what's being respected, what's being disrespected. When we see this 15-minute imbalance get ran through, or we have a 1 hour imbalance get ran through, that's telling me that the drawn liquidity is most likely lower. So going into the morning, I took a scalp on NQ because I expected to see, again, trying to recognizing how fast and how just strong we are in the morning selling off. And I was looking to see if we could catch some sort of short. So we continue to sell off, looking in, again, expecting the drawn liquidity to be here. So my bias is bearish going into today. My bias is bearish. We have an SMT at the highs. Going up from tomorrow, we had a big move to the upside. We came back into this 4 hour or daily fair value gap that we had. Big SMT correlating with ES. And again, like we talked about in last night's session, looking at DXY. DXY was coming into the daily fair value gap that we were looking at, and I was expecting to see a move back to the upside. So that is kind of my confluence for the bear bias going into the morning. When I saw this get ran through, I had a lot of confidence that we're going to take this sell side level, right? So I zoomed into the 1 minute, and I was looking to see if I could catch some sort of scalp opportunity. So we kept selling off, and this is kind of when I zoomed into a lower time frame. And this is when I really like using lower time frames, is when you have this kind of slow, really melty action to the downside on a 1 minute. This is when you kind of zoom in and you'll get really good scalp entries on a 15-second targeting whatever the draw is. So the trade that I took on NQ was this right here. We had a 15-second fair value gap. I was looking to see if I could scale in somewhere and have a tight stop and just take advantage of how weak we are, right? Now, a lot of the times, you don't really need a specific model for this specific trade I took has to do more with experience than it does any sort of like technical model. And the reason I took this trade is because recognizing where we are in the charts and how much we've sold off and we're just continuing to sell off, I'm very confident that we're going here. I'm very confident that we're going to sell side. And since we're so weak, I don't expect to see a massive pullback to like here before going lower. I'm expecting us to just continue straight down like we've been doing the entire morning. So what I do here, and if I want to take advantage of this kind of move, right? If we have this kind of action where it's just melting or pumping like this, a lot of the times I'll look for some sort of imbalance and enter targeting the draw, and I'll just have a good risk. So basically what I did is I waited for a pullback to this imbalance right here. Again, we had 2 15 minutes, but I liked this bigger one right here as well as it overlapped with a 1 minute fair value gap. So I got tapped in. I literally had 0 drawdown for this short, and I put my stop at the top of the imbalance. And I was targeting the sell side level. So we got top tick back in. Continue to short, continue to hold, and then right when this level got taken, again, I'm not looking to see any runners. I'm not looking to see anything because the objective that I'm looking for already, that's validating this bias, has already been taken, right? So I'm not leaving any runners. I don't expect us to sell off. Now we could sell off continuing, but once sell side is swept, we can bounce right back to the upside, right? So now that sell side's been swept, I'm not looking to hold any more of this position. I'm only looking to catch that scalp, and I took that on my main account, and it was nice. So that was the first trade I took on NQ. So before I get into the other trades too, I do want to kind of go over NQ as well, what happened later in the day. So one sell side is now taken. At this point in time, I'm not super bullish yet. I'm not super bullish just yet. And the reason I'm not super bullish yet is because I want to see displacement. Because looking at the chart, we could have absolutely continued to sell. But notice we actually had an SMT here form. On NQ, we ended up taking out this low. On ES, we didn't end up taking out this low. We actually were very far from this, forming a bullish SMT. And keep in mind, look where ES bounced. We came right back to that previous 4-hour fair value gap that we had, or daily fair value gap, sorry, that we had, and bounced right off of that previous imbalance that we've been playing off of in the last couple of days. So we came right back down, bounced off that imbalance, forming that SMT, and ES looks like the draw could possibly be back towards this high, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So keep in mind also is I want to go over the standard deviation for this. In the Discord today, I said, notice where we bounced and notice where you think that we're going back to. Now, I plan on making a second. I covered this in the first standard deviation video that I made, but I plan on making a second, more in-depth, more complex idea of another standard deviation video where it goes over more of this. But when looking at the manipulation move, look exactly where we bounced. Came right to this 4, again, lining up really nice with sell side. Touch this. When we get this candle back to the upside and we bounce and we respect this 4, 90% of the time, we're going back to discount of whatever the entire range is from the initial manipulation move. So that's another possible opportunity that you could look to take along. So right when this gets hit and I saw this initial move up, I knew that at least we were going back to discount of this range. So zooming in on the 1 minute, when we get this big move up, it's kind of hard to look for an entry here. The really only thing that you could maybe take is an internal scalp. Like if you really zoom in, like for example, we had this 1 minute fair value gap here. And again, at this point in time, the draw is no longer lower. So whoever asked that question earlier where you said, how do you change your bias throughout the day? This is exactly how I would do that. In the morning here, I'm completely bearish. Once this move happens, I am very bullish. I am no longer bearish. The reason is because the objective for sellers, or the objective for why I'm bearish, has already been met. So there's no reason for me to continue to be bearish until price action shows me that it wants to be bearish. When we come down, we sweep sell side, or ES doesn't, we form bullish SMT. Everything is now showing that we want to see some sort of reversal. So in that point in time, again, I can take a short 1 minute, and then an hour later, I can take a long because my bias has now completely flipped, right? Based off of what price action has showed me and based off of new data that's now been showing me, right? And that's one of the things about trading, and one of the things of why I day trade and not swing trade most of the time, is because day trading is one of those things where you're constantly being fed information that's going to change your bias. And the thing with ICT concepts is it sets us up for being able to understand when and when not to switch your bias. So again, when is the objective being met? Is it met? What's being respected? What's being disrespected? Right? That's the biggest thing I always want to pay attention to as well. What's being respected? What's being disrespected? When we come up, we run all of these imbalances here. What do you expect this to become? When we have these 15-minute imbalances here, I expect this to now become an inverse fair value gap. And you can see we came back here, bounce, coming back into this. We'll see if this continues to hold. But once this gets ran through, again, both of these imbalances get ran through. What does ICT say? 1, 2, 3 imbalances get ran through. We're going to whatever the opposite, right? This imbalance gets ran through, this imbalance, and then we just shoot up straight to that previous buy side level, right? So looking at any sort of opportunity you could have taken here, I would have needed to see some sort of bigger time frame imbalance for me to take a long. So number one, this was probably the main one I was looking at, is this 1 minute here, continuing higher. Again, expecting the draw on liquidity to be that previous high. Looking at this 1 minute imbalance, zooming in, waiting for some sort of internal level to be swept, and then displacement back to the upside. We end up stacking these kind of lows here. We get to move up. We run this imbalance. We have structure. Again, you could even still wait. Once we continue to hold this, again, there's two ways you could trade this. You could either trade this by entering here once we continue to hold this and then putting your stop at the bottom of the imbalance somewhere down here, or you could wait for displacement up after sweeping these lows and then taking, the imbalance, putting your stop here, but tighter, but again, you have a better opportunity of getting stopped and then possibly getting stop hunted, right? So there's two ways you could have traded this, but again, holding this imbalance would not have been a bad long. First target could have been this high, and then letting your runner go to that external level, it would have been not a bad setup whatsoever. So that's a possibility as well. I want to see as well, we didn't have any single candle close. We continue to hold this imbalance here. Other than that, you could have maybe looked to scalp like I did earlier on the shorts. You could have looked to you know, when we have, again, like we said, when you have this sort of momentum and this sort of push to whatever the draw is, it's easier to just take scalps, right, with good risk. So if you zoom in and you wait for some sort of structure to be made and you wait for some sort of pullback to some sort of discount fair value gap, that is important, discount. Then you could possibly apply good risk to that targeting to whatever the draw is. So like if you zoom into a 30-second here, like we have a big move up, right? You could have looked to maybe take, you didn't even see this fair value gap here, but another fair value gap. Pretty much everything got respected on this move up to sell side, or buy side, sorry. Every bullish imbalance, pretty much. Now, once this high is taken, we form another SMT. Again, guys, we've been forming so many, like, we have SMT here, we dump. We have SMT at the lows now with sell side, we pump. And SMT right here, we dump. So that's kind of how it's been recently. Let's see if there was, oh yeah, so then this is the short setup that I think was also good. Really wouldn't have taken anything up here. I don't like the structure. I would want more validation. I like this here, though, and I'll talk about why. The reason why is once we already have this displacement to the downside here, once we already have this move back inside this range, it gives me more confidence that we want to probably go lower. So I was looking to see this low, this recent low that we've been met here, and I wanted to see this act as sell side. This also overlapped with this imbalance. It also overlapped with this 1 hour fair value gap is what I was watching. So I was looking, again, what are the three things that price does, right? What are the three things that price does? There's only three reasons why price is going to move. Either to have some sort of run on liquidity, to rebalance to some sort of inefficiency, like here, rebalancing to some sort of inefficiency, or rebalancing to equilibrium, right? So those are the draw on liquidities that we want to pay attention to. So this is what my bias was. Came up, buy side got swept. We have another SMT at the highs with ES. We get displacement down. I'm expecting to rebalance to the 1 hour inefficiency. So the trade that you could have taken here was this. We had a 5-minute fair value gap here. We had a nice little order block here that we came and touched. And you could have looked to wait for, again, internal stop raid and then displacement back down. So zooming in, coming up, we're coming up, we're coming up. Again, we form low resistance liquidity run right here. We stop raid this high. Once you get this move to the downside, you could have looked to either take a short here with your stop at the high, never got stop hunted, or maybe even give it a little bit more room. Or you could have waited for, me personally, I probably would have waited for this entry, which would be once you get the bigger time frame market structure shift, which would be right here, and you get more validation that we've now held this area, I would have taken this imbalance right here, which is the next. And then you got a nice push to sell side. Again, using the bigger time frame draw, using a bigger time frame imbalance for a rejection, and then zooming in, waiting for the stop raid, waiting for displacement, and taking an imbalance. That is when, I'm going to repeat that, because that, if I'm being honest, that is what has made me profitable. That model right there. That model right there. Listen, have some sort of draw on liquidity. That's number one. Wait for a pullback to a bigger time frame imbalance, or order block, or breaker, or inverse, whatever it is. Zoom in, wait for a stop raid, wait for an internal model, wait for displacement back towards the draw, and then look for an imbalance to take an entry. All right. So let's go over the gold trade that I took. So gold looked really good. We had a nice gold trade that we took. Zooming in, going into the day, we came up and we took this high, but we didn't have a continuation of the downside. So this is telling me we want to go higher. Normally, I would be bearish here, but the fact that we were so bullish, I still think we're bullish, and we're probably going to break out to the upside, have another leg up. But we were super bullish, and I wasn't really expecting this to be a sweep. And I was waiting, anticipating to maybe see downside, but I recognized we were continuously holding this 1 hour fair value gap here. So I expected to see probably another price leg up. So zooming in to the 5-minute, when we came down, we respected this, had big displacement back up. We came down, and we continued to hold. I noticed we came down again, had a stop raid. We form low resistance liquidity run. I waited for the stop raid. We got displacement back up, and I entered long on this pullback to this fair value gap. And I took off all my contracts at this high. Now, the reason I didn't let a runner go to here is because gold is very manipulative. It's very manipulative. And a lot of the times it'll tease liquidity. So a lot of the times when I'm trading gold, I'm going to take what's given and I'm just going to take whatever the internal draw is, because a lot of the times, like, you won't get this continuation. It won't be efficient. A lot of the times gold is very manipulative, and I'm just going to take what's given on gold. So this was literally like a 5-minute trade. Like right when I entered, almost no drawdown, and we just went straight up to that level. So gold was a really nice trade today. I'm really happy with that. And not really much to it. Again, pretty much the exact same thing I said before. Bigger time frame draw. We're holding a bigger time frame imbalance. I zoom in, wait for a stop rate, take an imbalance, targeting the internal draw or the external draw, right? And then the trade I took on euro, this was the loss that I took today. Now, I still think the bias on my bias on euro is still the same. But we'll talk about the trade that I took today. So going into the day on euro, or going into the whole week, actually, I've been very bearish on euro, and I actually think this is going to be the high of week that we put on euro. Mark my words, if you guys want to watch. I want to see this become the high of week on euro, and can see a continuation down. But my bias on euro was very bearish. We've come up on a bigger time frame. We've took this buy side level. Zooming out, we've now rejected this 4-hour imbalance as well. We have nice displacement back in the range. I'm expecting this to now become a market maker sell model to the downside to target the external draw being a weekly imbalance and take out all of these lows that we've now formed here for acting as sell side. So going into the morning, notice we've had these highs here, these stacked highs that we've now been swept. And we get big displacement down, and I'm expecting this to start to be the reversal. So zooming into the 5-minute. We have buy side swept. We get big displacement back in the range. We come up. Once I get this rejection, I took a short. Put my stop up here. Targeting. I was looking to hold this to target this sell side level here. And then we ended up getting stopped. Continuing one more run up. And we actually just rejected off of this breaker that we had. Right here. So now I'm expecting us to see a lot lower. So Johnny is still in shorts. The short that I took was more of like a, again, very picky of an entry. If you really want to swing this, because I don't want to hold this for like days because I don't have a Forex account that will do it, and I can't do it on the Top Step account. But the trade is still valid. The bias is still valid. Johnny is still in shorts. We're in this daily imbalance right now. I'm looking to start to see this roll over to the downside, and this possibly could give us another opportunity for shorts going into tomorrow. So we have more context now. We've come up. We're now starting to reject. We've retraced back to optimal trade entry of this range. We're rejecting this bigger time frame breaker block right here, and we're still holding this 4-hour fair value gap, and we're still holding this daily fair value gap. Notice, again, the daily came up. We filled this imbalance. Now the new daily candle is starting to open. I want to start to see this reverse to the downside and continue lower. So going into euro, or going into tomorrow on euro, I am still going to be bearish and possibly look to maybe see if we have another opportunity to short targeting these lows. So those were the 3 trades that I took today. Justin, did my end of day trade look good to you? I waited for it to hit discount, and then I entered on the fair value gap. Also used standard deviation for my TP. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Could you write that down, your strat on chart, so I can screenshot it? Yeah. All right. Justin's strat, or Justin's eyes. How I look for a trade. Okay? Number 1, first thing you need is a draw on liquidity. You have to have a confident draw on liquidity. Number 2, recognize the model. Are we in market maker sell model, market maker buy model? Are we at discount? Or where do you think we're pulling back to? Again, what has to happen? The way that I think is what has to happen first for me to get a valid entry, right? What has to happen in the charts for me to get a high quality entry with having good risk, okay? Number 3, look for a bigger time frame imbalance to pull back to. Look for a bigger time frame imbalance to pull back to. Number 4, Once we come into that imbalance, zoom in and look for internal model, targeting the draw. So internal model meaning stop raid, displacement in direction of draw. 5, take an imbalance, or take a fair value gap for your entry, targeting internal draw, and let runners go to external draw. There you go. Jesus Christ, why is it so big? Screenshot this. And a lot of you guys, you'll recognize this. Most of the trades that I take will be exactly this. I would say almost all of the trades that I take will be this. And you'll start to realize, if you look back on all the trades that we've taken and in the charting sessions, like going forward, this will most likely be what it is. All right. So going into tomorrow, looking at NQ, now that we've had this move up, being a little bit cautious, I still want to be bearish, but I have to keep in mind, ES does look like we want to have a continuation higher. We are continuing to hold this daily imbalance. Again, just looking at what's being respected, what's being disrespected. This daily fair value gap is continuing to be respected multiple times. So we could definitely see a price leg upwards to take out this internal high. And that's starting to see what I'm leaning towards. But again, we have to keep in mind, even though ES looks like the draw is higher, DXY is still very bullish. NQ is still playing out market maker sell model. So, and we still have, again, a new SMT at this high. We've had an SMT here the other day, and then we sold off, and now we have another SMT at this high. So we just are forming SMT after SMT, and then we're just constantly switching direction. So right now we're kind of just in this little range here, going back and forth, whipping back and forth. So we'll see if we continue to have a move up. Right now, I'm going to be watching this imbalance on the 1 hour. If we continue to see this hold, I would expect to see a move up higher. If this gets ran through, I would expect to see sell side, which would be here. And if we break this daily imbalance, I'm going to look to see us continue to sell off. So a lot of the story of what's going to happen tomorrow depends on what happens in the overnight session. Again, I'm focused on what's being respected, what's being disrespected, and looking to probably take whatever the internal model is. So we have internal sell side here. A possibility could be us coming down, sweeping this, and then having a move back up. But if we have this and we run this, then I'm looking to take shorts targeting the sell side level. And then after this, again, I'm looking to see if we have another SMT or we're going to continue lower. Looking on NQ, again, coming back into this 1 hour imbalance. If we break this, possibly going back lower. Again, I still want to see a market maker sell model this week. I still am bearish, but I'm not going to be afraid to switch my bias just because, again, we've been whipping back and forth. We could absolutely have a move back up, but I would like to see this get ran through to target lower. So depending on what happens in the overnight session, we'll see what my bias becomes then. If I wake up and, again, see this internal level swept and then a displacement back up, I'll look to take either this high or the external high. But if this gets ran through, I'm expecting to probably see lower. So we'll see what happens going into tomorrow. Thoughts on this setup on ES? Got SMT buy side and 2 internal buy side swept. NQ displacement on 1 minute entered off fair value gap. Bigger time frame SMT. Got displacement. Yeah, looks good. Looks good. Finally capitalized on a good setup today and was happy to see it. See that I saw in the same way that you just showed it on your charting session. Yep, this would be the trade that I would take. Yep, looks good. And again, too, if you got stopped here, don't be afraid to re-enter this and recognize it's a stop hunt. If we come up and take this high and then have this move right after, that's what I'm saying. I would wait for that. Like, again, me personally, just based off of how I trade, looking at that specific opportunity here, that's why I would look to take that second imbalance, because it just gives me more confidence. It gives me more readiness, right? Once we get the stop rate, once this comes up, once we get this move, then I'm like, all right, it's ready, and I'll take this. But this would be the early entry here. But if you get stopped, again, don't be afraid to re-enter that, because that's one of those tradings where it's like, don't be like, oh my god, am I overtrading? Am I overtrading? You're trading the confident draw. You just got stopped on it, and again, that takes experience. I'm not saying I don't condone overtrading, or like I don't want to say that, because then I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, Justin said I should re-enter, blah, 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 and then you're going to overtrade and like blow your account. Don't do that. But it's recognizing when and when not is the right time to. And a lot of that has to do with emotion. Like we talked about earlier, being able to recognize when you're overtrading versus when you're re-entering. A lot of the times you can just tell based off of how you're behaving. Justin took this trade on GBP USD. What would you rate it? Yep, you got everything you want. SMT at the lows, sell side swept, internal sell side swept, break a structure, fair value gap, longs, buy side, boom, beautiful. Looks great. What the fuck? Sonics, get the fuck out of here, Sonic. Keep in mind, too, one thing that has helped me tremendously is following a plan and making a plan for the day. I used to look for setups in the day. Now I look for areas I think we are going to touch and then look for reactions off of them. This has really made a massive difference for me, and I'm sure those of you who are already doing this would agree. This will also keep you from taking bad trades in areas you shouldn't be trading or overtrading. Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen to James on this. He's 100% correct, and as I will agree with him on this, this has helped me as well. I just said as well twice. Make a plan for the day. Focus, again, the way that I think about it, and like what James basically stated, but the way that I think about it, again, like I said, what has to happen first? So when we have like a big move up here, there's no opportunity for me to take any trade here, right? But a lot of you guys are like trying to scalp, sell, scalp, all this stuff. Like there's no high quality opportunity for me to take up here, right? Once we get more structure, again, what has to happen first for me to take like a really quality opportunity? Took this trade on CL today. My execution was decent, but wondering, is there anything that oil has SMT divergence with, because that first imbalance that was made got respected? Wondering if you can incorporate a scout model thoughts. I have no idea. I really couldn't tell you. I don't trade CL enough to know. I don't think there would be a correlating indice or market for oil, so I'm gonna guess no, but I could not tell you. This looks good though. Again, bigger time frame. Wait for the bigger time frame rejection. The draw on liquidity is still lower. Wait for displacement out of it. Use an imbalance. You'll start to see this click. The best setups and high quality setups that you guys are going to see, your winners, all align with that bias. Bigger time frame draw, bigger time frame imbalance. Look for a stop rate. Look for sell side. Buy side swept. Displacement down. Look for an imbalance to take a short or long. Difference between market maker buy model and a sell model. Buy model is up, short model is down. But there's a lot more to it. I recommend watching a video on it on YouTube. I plan on making one. I plan on making one soon. But there's a lot of market maker buy models and market maker sell models out there on YouTube. What time frame is this? When was this? Again, this looks good, but again, I wouldn't look to take this long. I'm looking to take this long right here. Again, waiting for the internal stop rate. Draw on liquidity becomes this, right? Once we come up, we're holding this bigger time frame imbalance. Again, guys, I'm showing you guys how the way that my eyes. That's why I called it Justin's eyes, because the way that I look to take a trade. Bigger time frame imbalance got respected. Big move back up. Okay, what am I looking for? Some sort of stop rate. We're chopping. All right, we have a low here. Boom. Stop rate, displacement up. I take it long, targeting the draw. Learned so much ever since joining. Justin, you the GOAT. Much love, brother. 1 minute fair value gap within 5 minute entry for it. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good, brother. Took this during London session on CL. Let's see. Again, looks guys, you guys are killing it. This looks all you guys are killing it. This looks great. Buy side swept. You got displacement, retracing imbalance, sell side, partial TP on internal, external. Looks great. Looks great, guys. Wasn't too confident because of the 15-minute for value gap, but higher time frame SMT. Yeah, I like this too. I said that this wouldn't have been a bad trade as well. This is the long that I would like as well. So this is great. Looks good. Again, bigger time frame draw, wait for an imbalance, wait to see if there's an SMT, wait to see if there's a stop rate, displacement, targeting internal, targeting external. No stop rate, no trade. No stop rate, lower quality. At least for me. If ES takes buy side and NQ does not, at one point do you... Wait, if ES takes buy side and NQ does not, at what point do you flip to bearish and no longer expect NQ to take buy side? Once one of them does. Again, I wait for the reaction. Always wait for the reaction. Don't predict it. I won't... If ES takes buy side and NQ does not, I am not looking to take either long or short on neither of them. Because that means we have a divergence. And right when that divergence forms, that means... Boop, 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 red alert, don't take a trade because you need to wait for the reaction. Because there's times where ES will take a high and NQ will then still run to that high, right? And then the SMT is no longer valid. But you don't know if an SMT is going to hold or not until you see the reaction, right? If you look at today when NQ took this low and ES did not, there's no sign right when we take this low if we're going to continue or we're going to bounce until we bounce. Once you start to see momentum back to the upside, you're like, all right, this SMT is starting to play, right? Once you see, all right, we're chopping. All right, we're going to hold this in balance. Nope, this gets ran through and we get a big push up. All right, this SMT on a bigger time frame is probably now valid, right? But until that happens, don't touch it, right? Does that make sense? I've noticed that I only took about 2 good trades in a week, sometimes only one that I'm super confident, and I end up just watching good ideas pass by. Growing up playing sports, I know the more reps, the better. Should I start taking the trades that I think are good that I'm not sure with lower size? Absolutely, yes, 100,000%. Even if you take it on paper trade, it doesn't even need to be with low size. If you're not even comfortable with that, trade it on a paper account. Again, the biggest thing, yes, absolutely, you need to build conviction. If you think you only see 2 good setups, 1 good setup a week, that's fine. Maybe there is only 2 or 1 good setups per week for you. But if you think that there's more, test those ideas. Put on lower size. Paper trade it. Just so you can get the action of pressing a button and seeing that idea play out. And slowly but surely, when you see an idea throughout the day, again, I want you guys to test your ideas. Test your conviction. The way that ICT concepts are built is for you to build your own model based off of your own experience. That's why a lot of ICT traders, they trade similarly but different because they've all gained different experiences and different conviction with different things. So use the concepts to gain your own experience, test things, paper trade it, act on it, see if it works, see if it doesn't work, and slowly over time, the more that you do this, the more that you're going to be like, wait, I've seen this like happen a lot of times again. Like this should do this. And then that's how you start to build confidence with something. Your line presets on your chart? My line presets? Oh, like the presets I have for my lines? It's just buy side liquidity, market structure shift, order block, sell side SMT. They're all pretty much, the only thing that's SMT is a dotted line. That's pretty much it though. Is there a typo? Oh, yeah. No, fuck you. Actually, I'm gonna keep it. Just cause. Much love, Uno. Have a good one, brother. So you're saying that NQ and ES has to go in the same direction to be confident in a direction. Yes, absolutely. If there's no correlation, then you're going to get choppy, slow, in that action, and there's no efficiency in the action. PM your address. I'll get this for you. This is crazy. I don't think I could ever wear this. I actually don't think I could ever wear this. This is like me wearing a shirt that says like, "Don't talk to me without my coffee." Like some hella cringe ass shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I love ICT, but this is just no, I can't. If bro made some fire ass merch, then maybe. Speaking of fire ass merch, I'm still trying to find a manufacturer that can print my stuff the way that I want it. I know. I really wanna make this merch, but I don't want it cheap. Like I've tried 2 manufacturers already and I hate it and I don't like it. The ink, everything. For everybody that's new here, I've had these designs that I made for a while. I have multiple designs. This is one of them. This is the other color combo. And then where's we have the patience is key one. This one. We've had these designs, but I have yet to find a manufacturer that I like. So hopefully that'll be soon. I know. I don't like people will just like slap their logo on a fucking t-shirt and be like, "Hey, buy my shit." Nah, bro. I want some shit that I would actually wear, like that I like. Patience is key one will look fire on a hoodie. I think I have a hoodie mock-up of it, but yeah. The patience is key one is gas. There's different color. I kind of was like messing around with different color combos. But yeah. All right, guys. That is all I have for you guys tonight. Go get some rest. I'll post the recording right after this. We went over some good stuff tonight. I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. I'll be going live on YouTube tomorrow as well, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, get some rest. I will see you all tomorrow morning for live trading. Enjoy the rest of your night, guys. Peace.